Hello guys, welcome to my channel Legal Banter. This is a channel dedicated to make the understanding of law interesting through the medium of films. Now we all know law tends to become monotonous and boring. There's so many sections, cases, theories that we have to go through that understanding all of them and recalling them at a later point of time इतना आसान काम नहीं है. Let me give you an example of how movies come to a rescue in such a scenario. Now for every law student, उनके syllabus में first year especially, they are usually taught the concept of jury system. Either they will be taught this in their torts classes or they will be taught this in their jurisprudence classes. Jury system की theory समझना is not very easy. आपको देखना पड़ेगा how did it develop, what was the reason, why were people allowed to participate in the judicial process, why not a judge who is an expert of law, of application of law. बट यही चीज़ अगर आप एक मूवी के थ्रू समझने की कोशिश करें, इट बिकम्स अ लिटिल ईजियर. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आप लोगों ने शायद मूवी देखी होगी. देयर इज अ मूवी कॉल्ड एज 12 एंग्री मैन. इसका एक हिंदी वर्जन भी है, एक रुका हुआ फैसला. बोथ दीज मूवीज आर बेस्ड ऑन द सेम कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ हाउ अ ज्यूरी इज डिवाइडेड अमंग्स देमसेल्व्स व्हेन दे आर ट्राइंग टू डिसाइड द केस बिफोर देम. In the movie 12 Angry Men, they try to show how these 12 men come together with their own backgrounds, with their own baggage, and how their baggage and their background reflects on the decisions that they have taken pertaining to the case. तो अगर हम jury system को theory में पढ़ने की कोशिश करें, शायद उतना इंटरेस्टिंग नहीं लगेगा. शायद हम 5 साल बाद समझने की कोशिश करेंगे, याद भी नहीं आएगा. बट हाँ, अगर आपने ये मूवी देखी होगी, आपने इस मूवी में उस कॉन्टेक्स्ट को अप्लाई किया होगा, तो शायद 5 साल क्या 15 साल बाद भी आपके दिमाग में वो कॉन्सेप्ट इतना फ्रेश होगा कि आप किसी भी इंसान को, चाहे वो लॉयर है या नॉन लॉ पर्सन है, आप उसको समझा पाएंगे. नाउ दिस इज़ वेयर माई चैनल कम्स इन. This series, I'm going to start a series, and this series is going to help you understand. It's going to basically explore various laws, for example, constitutional law, torts law, contract law, criminal law, and how these laws or these concepts are reflected in movies. We will obviously try to understand ये कितने सच्चे हैं, क्या ये कुछ ज़्यादा ही स्ट्रेच करते हैं, क्या ये कुछ ज़्यादा ही क्रिएटिव लिबर्टी के नाम पे कुछ भी दिखाएंगे. बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली एट द एंड ऑफ द डे वी आर वॉचिंग अ फिल्म एंड दे हैव टू हैव एन एंटरटेनमेंट वैल्यू. सो क्या वो किसी एक्चुअल इंसिडेंट को उतनी ही सच्चाई से दिखा पाते हैं, या फिर वो उसको एंटरटेनिंग बनाने के चक्कर में और भी बहुत सारी चीज़ें डाल देते हैं जिससे वो लॉ का जो कॉन्सेप्ट है वो डाइल्यूट हो जाता है. दैट वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड. सो दिस वीडियो इज़ गोइंग टू हेल्प यू to understand how you review a film from a lawyer's perspective, from the perspective of a law student. किसी भी मूवी का रिव्यू करने के लिए I have devised a 4-step process. और ये 4-step process आपको समझाने के लिए I am going to take the example of a movie called Section 375. Now this movie was released in 2019. It's a movie directed by Ajay Bahal and stars Akshay Khanna and Richa Chadda in the central characters. Now the first step requires you to analyze and explain द थीम और द बैकड्रॉप ऑफ दैट मूवी. अब आपको इस स्टेप में क्या करना है, आपको एक प्लॉट समरी समझनी है, आपको आइडेंटिफाई करना है कि व्हाट इज़ द मेन थीम ऑन विच दैट मूवी इज़ बेस्ड, एंड गिव अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ डिटेल्स अबाउट द कैरेक्टर्स ऑफ द मूवी, एंड फाइनली यू हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई द सेंट्रल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ दैट मूवी. मतलब अगर आपसे कोई ये पूछे कि ये मूवी क्यों बनी या व्हाट इज़ द सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ दैट मूवी, दैट इज़ बेसिकली द सेंट्रल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ दैट मूवी. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इन सेक्शन 375 यू विल सी, अगर आपने वो मूवी देखी होगी तो उस मूवी का सेंट्रल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है द आइडिया ऑफ कंसेंट. Now the movie is rightly called Section 375 because it is based on an allegation of rape that the protagonist brings against the defendant. But what the movie explores more in detail is how subjective this consent is. क्या हम consent बोलते हैं कि हाँ, अगर कोई 2 people are in a relationship, so is that consent implied for the entirety of that relationship, या फिर उस relationship में भी कभी consent है और कभी नहीं है. That is the plot point of that movie. You can give a little bit detail about the characters if you want to. The second step requires you to identify the legal principles, concepts or provisions on which that movie is based. Now in a movie like Section 375, obviously goes without saying, समझना बहुत आसान है कि it is based on Section 375. पर किसका Section 375? It is our Indian Penal Code. Section 375 of the Indian Penal Code is about the offense of rape. And one of the categories that is laid down is that if a man commits an sexual intercourse with a woman without her consent, it amounts to rape. And that is your crux and the reason why the movie is titled so. तो अगर आपको आइडेंटिफाई करना है कि इस मूवी में कौन से लॉ के प्रोविजंस हैं, कौन से लॉ के कॉन्सेप्ट्स हैं, सो इस मूवी में द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ कंसेंट underlying the offense of rape is your legal provision. Moving on to the third step. The third step is the realism or the relevance of the movie. आपको बेसिकली ये देखना है, अब सिंस हम लॉ की बात कर रहे हैं या फिर हम किसी ऐसी मूवी की बात कर रहे हैं जो किसी रियल लाइफ इंसिडेंट पे बेस्ड है, तो हमें ये देखना बहुत ज़रूरी है कि वो मूवी सच्चाई को कितनी सच्चाई से दिखाती है, या क्या वो कुछ ज़्यादा ही स्ट्रेच करती है, या वो इट रिमेन्स ट्रू टू द एक्चुअल इंसिडेंट दैट happened. Now section 375, the example that we're talking about, is not based on any particular incident, real life incident, but yes, if you actually sit down and Google false accusation of rape, you are definitely going to get hundreds of results. There are many cases where courts have found that women, out of vendetta, out of revenge, they do file false accusation of rape against a male counterpart. Sometimes it is the reason because they were in a relationship, they were in a consensual relationship, but things don't go as the way they wanted to. Let's say the boy does not want to get married to the girl, but the girl is pressurizing him, or the girl now wants to extort money, and that was the reason why she went into that relationship with. And when this is realized that things are not going the way the girl wanted, she is very likely, it happens in such cases that she is trying to seek revenge or vendetta for such an act, because she knows, and we all know, the rape laws in our country are pro-women, they are pro-victim, and they are always going to presume that the person has committed the rape unless and until he is able to prove it to the court that he did not. So the third point will require you to understand that what is the relevance of the movie in today's time. क्या मूवी जिस लीगल कॉन्सेप्ट पे बेस्ड है उसको एग्जैक्टली वैसे ही दिखाती है जैसा वो है, या फिर उसको एंटरटेनिंग बनाने के लिए समथिंग एक्स्ट्रा इज पुट इनटू द मूवी विच मेक्स इट अनरियलिस्टिक. तो अगर आप सेक्शन 375 देखेंगे तो वो बहुत सारे लीगल पहलुओं पे टच करती है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल द कोर्ट प्रोसीजर, कोर्ट में कैसे चलता है, कैसे एक वकील क्या बोलता है, हाउ इज इट रिबटेड बाय द अदर लॉयर, द डाइकोटमी दैट गोज ऑन इन द जजेस माइंड. उसमें दिखाया है कि कैसे उस बेंच में दो जजेस हैं, एक जज जो है वो थोड़ा नो नॉनसेंस टाइप है, ही रिमेन्स वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट टू द लॉ. द अदर जज, द फीमेल जज, इज शोन टू बी अ लिबरल जज, अ प्रोग्रेसिव जज. तो कैसे इस तरह के बेंच जहाँ पे दो अलग तरह के जजेस आर सिटिंग टुगेदर टू डिसाइड, हाउ are they able to overcome their moral conflict, their ethical conflict, and they're able to give a decision. That is portrayed in the movie. You can also consider the treatment of a rape victim, how a rape victim is treated in a hospital when they go for physical examination, or how a police tends to investigate the matter and sometimes tends to demean a victim of any sexual assault or rape. That is also very rightly portrayed in the movie. The ethical standards of lawyers are also very nicely put. In fact, I would want to quote, and that's one of my favorite dialogues in the movie. The defense lawyer, which is played by Akshay Khanna, says, "Law is a fact, justice is abstract." And that basically sums up the entire movie. He says, he goes on to tell his prosecution counterpart that we are in the business of law, not justice. Our purpose is to secure the application of law. Justice may or may not follow, and that is not the lookout of a lawyer. This movie also tells you, it tries to bring forth the idea that how a lawyer is supposed to be detached emotionally from his case and to keep his focus objectively on the role that he has to play for his client. Lastly, this movie also touches upon the peer pressure, the media, the pressure that the media builds up on such cases where media trial takes place, and the way it is shown in the movie that owing to the pressure that is put by the media, the bench eventually rules against the defendant, even though it has been proved satisfactorily that the accusation of rape was fake. They know for a fact, the defense lawyer is able to prove convincingly that this is a case of a false rape case, but owing to the media pressure, which is already condemning the defendant because he is rich and the prosecutrix is a poor girl. So they've already made up their mind that yes, he did in fact commit an act of rape. He did sexually assault her. So the judges are also bowed down because of the media pressure, and they give a decision which is based on law but not so much so on justice. So this is the third part wherein we try to understand the relevance or the realism of the movie. The fourth and the final part is to understand that can you say that you as a law student were able to pick up or you were able to imbibe any skills from the movie? या फिर how will you criticize that movie like a critique? Or how will you appreciate that movie? If you feel that you could take away something substantial from that movie probably made you a better law student, it made you a better person, it made you more empathetic. That is what is going to be the focus of your fourth and the final part. This movie also very nicely takes you through the process of examination of an accused or examination of a witness. Cross-examination, the kind of questions you're supposed to ask, the manner in which you're supposed to ask, आपका tone कैसा होना चाहिए, how can you ensure that the way you ask the question you are able to get the answer that you are looking from your witness. ये movie ये बखूबी दिखाती है. Akshay Khanna does his job really well, and the character of the defense lawyer that he portrays is somewhere an ideal defense lawyer. What you expect out of an ideal defense lawyer is what the movie portrays. Section 375 is a very interesting provision. Whenever this becomes a part of any discussion or debate, it usually evokes a lot of interest. But जब आप actually IPC खोलेंगे और Section 375 को देखेंगे, it's a very tedious and a very technical provision. Not something that anybody can understand. Definitely not a law student of first year. But हाँ, after you watch this movie, whether you are studying law or not, आपको कुछ बातें ज़रूर बहुत clearly समझ आएंगी. पहली बात, Section 375 is about rape. ठीक है, for a lawman, for a layman, this may be an important information. Secondly, for a law student, since we are talking about law review for a law student, आपको ये बात बहुत अच्छे से समझेगी कि the entire conflict of Section 375 is consent. आप देखेंगे there are 7 parts to it. All these parts are or parts, which means that if any of those parts are proved, the offense of rape is made out. But maximum number of rape cases, if you pick up any criminal journal, maximum number of cases of rape are based on the absence or presence of consent. Can consent be implied? Was the consent there? Was the consent misplaced? Was the consent based on some misrepresentation or miscommunication? This majorly forms the crux of majority cases of rape that are filed in India. So having watched this movie, it becomes clearer to you that what goes on in cases of rape, especially where you have now established by the end that this is a case of false accusation. Rape did not actually happen. They were in a completely consensual relationship, but because the boy did not agree to marry or to go continue this relationship with her, the girl decided to take revenge because he had insulted her and told her that तुम मेरे बिना कुछ नहीं हो. She took it upon it herself. She made it an ego thing and she decided to seek revenge. But इस मूवी के अंदर आप ये बात बहुत अच्छे से समझ पाते हो कि ना सिर्फ the Section 375 is about consent. It is also about how judges bow down to the media pressure, how they don't want to give a judgment which is against contrary public opinion. They want to still be popular. They don't want to be condemned. वो नहीं चाहते कि उनके पुतले फूके जाए ये बोल के कि ये जज जो हैं ये एंटी फेमिनिस्ट हैं या एंटी वुमेन हैं. इसलिए कई बार वो ऐसे डिसीजन दे देते हैं जो शायद लॉ पे तो सच्चे उतरते हैं बट जस्टिस से उनका कोसों तक कोई वास्ता नहीं होता है. So in conclusion, this movie humanizes an otherwise very non-human and a notorious provision of the Indian Penal Code, which is Section 375. I hope ये steps आपको समझे होंगे, ये video आपको पसंद आया होगा, and if you follow these steps in the proper manner in which I have suggested, you will be able to do very easily any legal review of a movie. If you liked what you saw, please like. If you think this could help some other person, please share this video and subscribe to my channel. In my next video, I'll be taking a different approach wherein I will be first picking up a law and then we'll explore the application of that law through various movies that were based on that law.